Hi guys, it's Chris back in the shed, and it's getting dark, so I've got a light on, so it might look a bit strange compared to what it usually looks like. I've got a little sort of like spotlighty thing, so you probably see it reflected in my glasses actually. I hope that doesn't distract too much. I'm going to do a quick one before it gets dark, and it is another Pilton, and it's called Scarlett Sharpe, and there it is, Scarlett Sharpe. You can see that all right. And this is fresh fermented black currants with Somerset Keep cider, with Mandarina Bavaria and Mosaic in ex-Tam O'Shanter barrels. Okay, so you know what black currants are. So it's obviously been made into like a fruit wine. Mandarina Bavaria and Mosaic are both hop varietals, one of which is both quite fruity hop varietals actually. Mosaic certainly is quite tropical aromatics on that one. Mandarina Bavaria I think is also, sounds like it's going to be more European, therefore might be a little bit more spicy, but the Mandarina element makes you think it's going to be fruity as well. And ex-Tam O'Shanter barrels, so therefore the barrels that they aged Tam O'Shanter in are ex-whiskey barrels, so they're taking the Tam O'Shanter out, which is a keep cider they put in there, and then they've put this in there as well. So when you talk about intervention, this just about ticks all the boxes. And I have to say, I'm a bit old-fashioned. I'm an old man. I'm an old-fashioned sort of guy, and I'm a purist. So when I see that much stuff on a label, it starts to worry me, because I like cider. I also like beer. I love beer. I love hops. You don't have to hop cider. The hops are there to bring bitterness, to counteract the sweetness of the natural sweetnesses in beer. And it's also there as a preservative. So it means that beer could be stored and transported, you know. IPA is classic, Indian Pale Ale, heavily hopped beer, so that it could make the journey from England to India. That's why it was heavily hopped. Modern beers, modern IPAs tend to use like the IPA style that we think of now actually was developed in America using Pacific Northwestern hops like Cascade and so forth, which are very tropical, fruity, piney, nothing like European hops. Now that's become the characteristic we think of IPA. And Mosaic is, I can't remember if it's American or Australian, but basically it's pretty fruity devil, that's what it is. So it also brings bitterness as well, but this won't bring any bitterness because you get bitterness in it by boiling the hops with the wort, the young beer if you like. This will have been dry hopped, so we'll just dropped it in, so it's just going to bring aromatics basically. So you've got fermented black currants, you've got keep cider, you've got two sorts of hops, and then you stick it in the barrel that's had whiskey and another keep cider in it. Surely we can do more than that. Surely we can. So who knows what this is going to be like. For me, sometimes less is more. I have to say quite often less is more actually. But I'm going to try and be objective. No, I'm going to be objective about it. That's what I'm going to be. So colour-wise, let's have a look at this. I don't know if you can see that. That is definitely, you can see the black currant in there. That is, well, it's not even rosé, basically. It's pinker than a rosé, isn't it? It's almost red. I mean, it's pushing for some sort of strawberry sort of colour, I would suggest that. Naturally fermented in bottle, therefore finer bubbles. Let's give it a sniff. Put my glasses up. Okay. Don't know where to start with this. The initial thing I get is black currant, which makes me think of Ribena, which is a great taste. I love Ribena. My kids drink it, and I drink it because they drink it. Well, not because they drink it. I nick it and drink it myself. So the black currant thing makes me think of Ribena. Very pleasant indeed. But there's definitely something in the background that makes me think of beer. There's a hop character. It's not as fruity as I would think. There's a spiciness though, which maybe comes from the Mandarina Bavaria, possibly. And then in the background, there's a hint of keep cider. There's a lot of things have gone into this, so I'm finding it very hard to isolate each particular ingredient. Let's try it. Cheers. Okay, so there's tannin. There's definitely tannin. There's definitely black currant. Loads of it. It does taste like, the first taste I'm getting most of all is like quite a dilute Ribena flavour. Then you get some acidity kicking in. My mouth's starting to water at the back, like it's like a lemony acidity. Yeah, the hops there, but it's mixed in with quite a few other things. It's quite hard for me to isolate, but there's a definite hop character. If you hadn't told me it had hops in it, I'd be rocking my brains to think, what is that? And if somebody said hops, I'd go, oh yeah, I get that now, but it's really hard to pinpoint. What do I think of this? What do I think about this? I'm finding this quite challenging. I'm not going to lie. There's apple on the finish. You start getting the apple on the finish. I wouldn't be able to tell you there was I'd struggle to tell you there was a Keeve cider in here. I could definitely tell you I think there was a cider in here. The Tam O'Shanter barrels, I'm not sure what they're bringing to the party. Not really. Because it's quite a delicate whiskey flavour in Tam O'Shanter anyway. So if you put this in the barrel after the Tam O'Shanter, you're primarily going to pick up more residual Tam O'Shanter, I would have thought. So not a lot of whiskey, I would have thought. The hops are quite nice. My brain's finding it hard to piece these things together because blackcurrant, Keeve cider and hops are not three things that I would ever associate with one another in a beverage. This is the only time I can imagine those three things would ever collide with one another. I don't dislike it. I don't dislike it at all. I just don't know if there's too much happening. There's so much happening you can't determine anything. Sometimes less is more. Well, I've said that already. I think most of the time. Italian cooking is brilliant because usually you have 3 ingredients, 4 ingredients, and you can taste all of those ingredients and they're all fresh and delicious and amazing. And that's what's beautiful about it. This is more like French gastronomy, if you like, which I'm less a fan of sometimes. Sometimes I don't want a chemistry lesson. I want to eat something tasty. But there is tasty French food as well. Okay. Now I hope Martin doesn't watch this and get annoyed, because this is just my opinion. And like I said at the beginning, I am a purist. When it comes to cheese as well, same thing. If you make a brilliant cheese, don't smoke it, don't mess about with it, don't put cumin in it or whatever, or wrap it in boozy leaves or whatever, you know. You don't need to. You don't need to. Have faith in the fact that that's delicious. But Martin likes to experiment, you know, and that's probably what keeps him passionate and interested. Therefore, he should definitely do it. The problem with experimentation is exactly that. When you experiment, you know, you're testing out hypotheses, if you like. You're trying to see what works. You're trying to come up with a brilliant solution to a problem. Whether this is a brilliant solution to a problem, whether this plugs a gap in the market that existed, that we're all crying out for, I'm not so sure that it does. However, if you're interested in experimenting with different things, then you should definitely get some and try it, I think. Because this will be limited production. He may not make this again. He may make this again. I don't know. There's quite a wild cat fight going on somewhere in the locale. If you can hear that, sorry. It's quite exciting. So yeah. So there you go. And now this is starting to get quite moody in the shed. It's starting to look a bit kind of strange and Halloweeny, isn't it? So I will stop talking. Anyway, there you go. What's it called again? Scarlett Sharpe. Fermented blackcurrants, Keeve cider, Mandarin and Bavaria and Mosaic hops, aged in a Tam O'Shanter barrel. So, get some, try it, let me know what you think. Okay guys, thanks for watching. I'm off to Devon in the morning. We're going to stay in an orchard. I'm taking some stuff with me to try. I'm going to take my tripod, etc. So yeah, next time you see me, I may well be sat in an orchard drinking cider. How bad can it be? Alright guys, thanks for watching and cheers.